I definitely did not see this being a top 20 matchup, but I'm not complaining. We've got number 19 Illinois taking on number 9 Penn State in Happy Valley, one of the more intriguing matchups of Week 5. But the thing is, despite it being a top 20 matchup, Penn State's still nearly a 17-point favorite in this game. So will the Nittany Lions just mop the floor and destroy Illinois in this game, or will the Fighting Illini prove they really are legit, and not just legitimate in the Big Ten, but maybe on the national stage? That's what we're here to talk about today. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad you could join us. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country, beating out over 80% of the national handicappers, not just right now, this season, but also each of the last 6 seasons as well. So we are on a great tear historically here at the Gridiron Expert, off to a pretty solid start already this year. Some of the best picks in the country for one of the lowest prices in the country for a full year-long subscription. No other site is offering you that kind of deal with that kind of track record. So go check it out. The link for it down in the description below, and become a member of our GE Nation. So let's take a look at this game. Penn State, Illinois, kind of a interesting history between these programs. Obviously didn't play all the time, with Penn State being in the East and Illinois being in the West, but obviously there are no more divisions in college, or in Big Ten, almost in college football, but no more divisions in the Big Ten. Penn State, though, they did play last year. They beat Illinois 30-13 on the road, but a couple years ago, back in 2021, Illinois managed to win in Happy Valley 20-18 in 9 overtimes. So that was, again, one of the craziest games I've ever seen. 9 overtimes and only 20-18, 38 combined points, thanks to those new overtime rules. Can Illinois work some of that magic again? A night game in Happy Valley, one of the toughest environments to play in the country. If they want to win this game, they're going to need a pretty decent day on the offensive side of the ball. And the thing is, the offense has really impressed me so far from Illinois this year. I mean, really, they have. This is a Brett Bielema-led squad that likes to bully you up front, likes to run the ball well, but over the course of his coaching career has had, mediocre quarterback play. Every now and then has a pretty solid one. Russell Wilson, the Allen brothers at Arkansas, but Illinois, always up in the air. But Luke Altmaier this year has played very, very well. 862 yards, 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, completing over 71% of his passes. And last week, against Nebraska, the reason that Illinois is in the top 20 right now, by winning on the road against the Cornhuskers, he threw for over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. Illinois has got a balanced offense, over 220 passing yards a game, over 156 rushing yards per game. Caden Fagan has been great at running back, 242 yards and 3 touchdowns. And they've got 4 players with at least 100 rushing yards. So you've got a competent quarterback in Altmaier who's playing lights-out football, is extremely accurate, takes great care of the football. You've got multiple running threats. This is a very, very good Illinois offense. They're not the flashiest in the world. They're not the most explosive in the world, but they are efficient. And maintaining that balance against this strong of a Penn State defense is going to be the key for Illinois to come on the road and win this game. No doubt about that. We'll touch more on Penn State's defense in a second, but Illinois finally does have the offense to, I think, compete at a high level in this conference. Penn State, the same can be said for them. Last year, they were a top 10 team, went to a New Year's Six bowl game, but the offense was just mediocre, right? Now they've got a new offensive coordinator, Andy Kotelnicki, and they're playing very well. 537 yards per game is what they're averaging, over 280 through the air, and over 250 on the ground. Granted, Penn State really hasn't played anybody noteworthy besides West Virginia in Week 1, compared to Illinois, who's already beat Kansas and Nebraska. But this is a Penn State offense that I think is finally, becoming that more explosive offense that we wanted to see last year. Drew Aller was good last year, but wasn't very explosive. They weren't very dynamic in the passing game. We're seeing that more this year. Aller has already thrown for over 700 yards and 8 touchdowns compared to just 1 interception. Nick Singleton and Katron Allen are one of the best running back duos in the entire country, definitely in the Big Ten. Singleton's averaging 8.5 yards per carry. Katron Allen already has nearly 200 rushing yards on the year. And here's the thing. We talked about the explosiveness. We talked about Penn State finally waking up and delivering on those big plays. The Nittany Lions have scored 17 offensive touchdowns this year. 6 of them have been for at least 20 yards or more. So they are much more explosive than they were last year. They are much more electric than they were last year. They're still maintaining a great balance offensively, but instead of just honing in on the run against Penn State, you actually now have to account for that home run ball in the passing game, something they did not have in 2023. So the question now is, can the Illinois defense handle that, especially on the road? We're going to talk about both of these teams' defenses coming up next, but first, a quick word from our sponsor. We've got a new sponsor for the show this season, Chris Gates Fitness, in his online fitness training camp. Training Camp is a monthly fitness program designed specifically for football fans, and it's like nothing I've ever seen before. With hundreds of different workouts and exclusive content such as the calorie calculator and, my personal favorite, the low-calorie, high-protein tailgating cookbook, Training Camp is a must for any football fan looking to get or stay in shape. With Chris as your coach, you'll get top-notch guidance. He's been coaching people online since 2018, and, like all of you watching, he's a die-hard football fan. His clients consistently get results by implementing a flexible approach to diet and exercise. So if you're interested in getting brand new workout programs every month, fitness challenges every month to push you to develop healthy habits, challenges within the Training Camp community like weekly football pick'ems, access to live Q&As where you can get direct, personalized support from Chris with your health and fitness, and the support of a community of people there to encourage you every step of the way, you need to visit chrisgatesfitness.com/Gridiron Expert, the link down in the description below. Learn more, sign up today, and use our promo code GRIDIRON to get your first month for just $10. For Illinois, the game plan is simple: turnovers and pressure. That's what you have to do to pull off this massive upset on the road. You've got to force turnovers and then convert off of them, and you have to create pressure. Look at their two biggest wins. The two biggest wins were Kansas and Nebraska. Against Kansas, they forced 4 turnovers in that game, one of which was a pick six. Pretty massive pick six that came right before halftime and ultimately was the difference maker as Illinois only won by 6 points. Against Nebraska, they forced an interception and had 5 sacks, including 2 massive ones in overtime that basically sealed the win for them. I know, Nebraska had 2 more downs, but they were never going to pick that up. So pressure, turnovers, that's what the Fighting Illini have done very well. That's what they're going to have to continue to do well against Penn State. But here's the thing. They've got to find a way to limit the ground game. They've done well in those 2 wins that we talked about. They've done well as a whole defensively, but the ground defense has been slightly concerning. They allowed 186 rushing yards to Kansas. They allowed 142 rushing yards to Central Michigan. They only allowed 50 to Nebraska. So which rushing defense is going to show up against a very good Penn State offensive line, a very good Penn State rushing attack that's averaging over 250 rushing yards per game? If you can force Drew Aller to win this game solely through the air by himself, your odds increase exponentially. Again, he's a good quarterback. He takes great care of the ball, but Penn State depends on that balance. They do not want to become a one-dimensional team, and that's what Illinois needs to do. For Penn State defensively, look, I don't think that Illinois is going to have much success running the ball on this defensive line. The Nittany Lions have a phenomenal defensive line, really a phenomenal front seven. The most rushing yards they've allowed so far this year were 121 to Bowling Green, which I know they're a member out of the MAC, but Bowling Green only lost by, 1 possession to Penn State, only lost by 1 possession to A&M. The Falcons, I had making the MAC championship game, and they were playing very well against some elite opponents. Penn State held West Virginia to 85 rushing yards. They had Kent State to 48, which isn't saying too much, but the front seven is extremely, extremely strong. So this is a game where you really, if you're Illinois, are going to have to rely on Luke Altmaier. He was phenomenal last week against Nebraska. He's played well all season long. Hasn't turned the ball over once. He's going to need a, once again, very clean game, very accurate game, and maybe the game of his career if they're going to beat Penn State in Happy Valley. But I will tell you this. Penn State's pressure is going to be the difference maker. They're going to bottle up the run game. They're going to force Altmaier to do it by himself. He's going to throw his first interception this season in Happy Valley on Saturday night. It's going to happen. He's going to force a mistake with the game on his shoulders. I'm not saying he can't deliver, but he is going to make a handful of mistakes, and Penn State's going to make him pay for it. Ultimately, I've got Penn State winning this game, if you couldn't tell. I like this Illinois team a lot. Illinois has proved me wrong time and time again. They really have. I will own up to that. I have missed the mark on a handful of Illinois games, but I just like Penn State way too much. A night game in Happy Valley, this elite of a defense, this balanced of an offense, this explosive of an offense, arguably the best offense that Illinois has faced this year. Jalen Daniels has struggled mightily at Kansas. Nebraska had a freshman quarterback in Dylan Raiola. This is a veteran Penn State team with Happy Valley on their side. I just don't see any late game heroics or miracles like we saw in 2021 happening again for Illinois. Penn State wins this game by at least 10. By at least 10 points. Illinois, though, should remain in the top 25 going forward. They're still a true contender in the Big Ten, still a team that has impressed me mightily, but Penn State ultimately just a little bit too much. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home of those exclusive expert picks, some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country. Sign up today before this next week truly gets going. You do not want to miss out on those picks and that full year-long subscription. Again, the link down in the description below. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.